Piedmont is one of the 20 regions of Italy. It has an area of 25,402 square kilometers and a population of about 4.6 million. The capital of Piedmont is Turin. Toponymy: the name Piedmont comes from medieval Latin Pedimontem or Pedemontis, i.e. ad Pedemontium, meaning at the foot of the mountains. Geography: Piedmont is surrounded on three sides by the Alps, including Monvigia, where the Po rises, and Monte Rosa. It borders with France, Switzerland and the Italian regions of Lombardy, Liguria, Aosta Valley and for a very small fragment with Emilia-Romagna. The geography of Piedmont is 43.3% mountainous, along with extensive areas of hills and plains. Piedmont is the second largest of Italy's 20 regions, after Sicily. It is broadly coincident with the upper part of the drainage basin of the River Po, which rises from the slopes of Monvigia in the west of the region and is Italy's largest river. The Po collects all the waters provided within the semicircle of mountains which surround the region on three sides. For the highest peaks the land slopes down to hilly areas, and then to the upper, and then to the lower Great Paddan Plain. The boundary between the first and the second is characterized by reservoir springs, typical of the Paddan Plain, which supply fresh water both to the rivers and to a dense network of irrigation canals. The countryside is very diversified, for the rugged peaks of the massifs of Monte Rosa and of Gran Paradiso, to the damp rice paddies of Vercelli and Novara, for the gentle hillsides of the Langhe and of Montferrat to the plains. 7.6% of the entire territory is considered protected area. There are 56 different national or regional parks. One of the most famous is the Gran Paradiso National Park, located between Piedmont and the Aosta Valley. History: Piedmont was inhabited in early historic times by Celtic Ligurian tribes such as the Turini and the Salassa. They were later subdued by the Romans, who founded several colonies there including Augusta Taurinorum and Aphoridia. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the region was repeatedly invaded by the Burgundians, the Goths, Byzantines, Lombards, Franks. In the 9th–10th centuries there were further incursions by the Magyars and Saracens. At the time Piedmont, as part of the Kingdom of Italy within the Holy Roman Empire, was subdivided into several marks and counties. In 1046, Odo of Savoy added Piedmont to the main territory of Savoy, with a capital at Chambéry. Other areas remained independent, such as the powerful Comuni of Astia and Alessandria and the marquisades of Saluzzo and Montferrat. The county of Savoy was elevated to a duchy in 1416, and Duke Emanuele Filiberto moved the seat to Turin in 1563. In 1720, the Duke of Savoy became King of Sardinia, founding what evolved into the Kingdom of Sardinia and increasing Turin's importance as a European capital. The Republic of Alba was created in 1796 as a French client republic in Piedmont. A new client republic, the Piedmontese Republic, existed between 1798 and 1799 before it was reoccupied by Austrian and Russian troops. In June 1800 a third client republic, the Subalpine Republic, was established in Piedmont. It fell under full French control in 1801 and it was annexed by France in September 1802. In the Congress of Vienna, the Kingdom of Sardinia was restored, and furthermore received the Republic of Genoa to strengthen it as a barrier against France. Piedmont was a springboard for Italy's unification in 1859 to 1861. Following earlier unsuccessful wars against the Austrian Empire in 1820 to 1821 and 1848 to 1849. This process is sometimes referred to as Piedmontization. However, the efforts were later countered by the efforts of rural farmers. The House of Savoy became kings of Italy, and Turin briefly became the capital of Italy. However, when the Italian capital was moved to Florence, and then to Rome, the administrative and institutional importance of Piedmont was deeply reduced, and the only remaining recognition to Piedmont's historical role was that the Crown Prince of Italy was known as the Prince of Piedmont. After Italian unification, Piedmont was one of the most important regions in the first Italian industrialization economy. Lowland Piedmont is a fertile agricultural region. The main agricultural products in Piedmont are cereals, including rice, representing more than 10% of national production, maize, grapes for winemaking, fruit and milk. With more than 800,000 head of cattle in 2000, livestock production accounts for half of final agricultural production in Piedmont. Piedmont is one of the great wine-growing regions in Italy. More than half of its 700 square kilometers of vineyards are registered with DOC designations. It produces prestigious wines as Barolo, Barbaresco, from the Langhe Alba, and the Moscato d'Asti, as well as the sparkling Asti from the vineyards around Asti. Indigenous grape varieties include Nebbiolo, Barbera, Dolcetto, Fraser, Grignolino and Braccetto. The region contains major industrial centers, the main of which is Turin, home to the Fiat automobile works. Olivetti, once a major electronics industry whose plant was in Scarmagna, near Ivrea, has now turned into a small-scale computer service company. Biella produces tissues and silks. The city of Asti is located about 55 kilometers east of Turin in the plain of the Tanaro River and is one of the most important centers of Montferrat, one of the best-known Italian wine districts in the world, declared officially on the 22nd of June 2014 a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Alba is the home of Ferrero's chocolate factories and some mechanical industries. There are links with neighboring France via the Fréjus and the Col-d'Itenda tunnels, as well as the Montgenèvre Pass. Piedmont also connects with Switzerland with the Simplon and Great St. Bernard passes. It is possible to reach Switzerland via a normal road that crosses Oriental Piedmont starting from Arona and ending in Locarno, on the border with Italy. A region's airport, Turin-Casale, caters domestic and international flights. The region has the longest motorway network amongst the Italian regions. It radiates from Turin, connecting it with the other provinces in the region, as well as with the other regions in Italy. In 2001, the number of passenger cars per 1,000 inhabitants was 623. Tourism in Piedmont employs 75,534 people and currently comprises 17,367 companies operating in the hospitality and catering sector, with 1,473 hotels and tourist accommodations. The sector generates a turnover of €2,671 million, 3.3% of the €80,196 million, which represents the total estimated spending on tourism in Italy. The region enjoys almost the same level of popularity among Italians and visitors from overseas. In 2002 there were 2,651,068 total arrivals. International visitors to Piedmont in 2002 accounted for 42% of the total number of tourists, with 1,124,696 arrivals. The traditional leading areas for tourism in Piedmont are the Lake District, Piedmont's Riviera, which accounts for 32.84% of total overnight stays, and the metropolitan area of Turin, which accounts for 26.51%. In 2006, Turin hosted the 20th Olympic Winter Games, and in 2007 it hosted the 23rd Universiade. Alpine tourism tends to concentrate in a few highly developed stations like Alagna, Valsesia and Sestria. Around 1980, the long-distance trail Grande Traversa delle Alpi was created to draw more attention to the manifold of remote, sparsely inhabited valleys. Since 2006, the Piedmont region has benefited from the start of the slow food movement and Terra Madre, events that highlighted the rich agricultural and viticultural value of the Po Valley in northern Italy. In the same year, Piemonte Agency for Investments, Export and Tourism was founded in order to strengthen the international role of the area and its potential. It was the first Italian institution bringing together all activities carried out by pre-existing local organizations operating for the internationalization of the territory. Education. The economy of Piedmont is anchored on a rich history of state support for excellence in higher education, including some of the leading universities in Italy. The Piedmont Valley is home to the famous University of Turin, the Polytechnic University of Turin, the University of Eastern Piedmont and, more recently, the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute. Demographics. The population density in Piedmont is lower than the national average. In 2008 it was equal to 174 inhabitants per square kilometre, compared to a national figure of about 200. It rises however to 335 inhabitants per square kilometre when just the province of Turin is considered, whereas Verbano-Cusciola is the less densely populated province. The population of Piedmont followed a downward trend throughout the 1980s. This drop is the result of the natural negative balance, while the migratory balance since 1986 has again become positive because of an excess of new immigration over a stable figure for emigration. The population as a whole has remained stable in the 1990s, although this is the result of a negative natural balance and a positive net migration. The Turin metro area grew rapidly in the 1950s and 1960s due to an increase of immigrants from southern Italy and Veneto, and today it has a population of approximately 2 million. As of 2008, the Italian National Institute of Statistics estimated that 310,543 foreign-born immigrants live in Piedmont, equal to 7.0% of the total regional population. Most immigrants come from Eastern Europe, with smaller communities of African immigrants. Government and politics. The regional government is presided by the president of the region, who is elected for a 5-year term and is composed by the president and the ministers, who are currently 14, including a vice president. In the last regional election, which took place on 29–30 March 2010, Roberto Cota defeated incumbent Mercedes Bressa. In 2014, Cota chose not to stand again for president, and the parties composing his coalition failed to agree on a single candidate, resulting in a landslide victory for Sergio Chiamparino, a Democrat who had been mayor of Turin from 2001 to 2011. Administrative divisions. Piedmont is divided into 8 provinces. Culture. Languages. As in the rest of Italy, Italian is the official national language. The main local languages are Piedmontese, Insubric, Occitan, and Franco-Provençal, like in the Susa Valley. Sport. Turin hosted the 2006 Winter Olympics. In football, notable clubs in Piedmont include Turin-based Juventus and Torino, who have won 38 official top-flight league championships between them, the most of any other city in Italy. Other smaller teams include the old Piedmont quadrilateral components Novara, Alessandria, Casale, Pro Vercelli, With the pre-World War II success of Pro Vercelli and the dominance of Torino during the Grande Torino years and Juventus in more recent times, the region is the most successful in terms of championships won. Other local teams include volleyball teams Cuneo and Asistal Novara, basketball teams Biella Basketball and Junior Casale, ice hockey team Hockey Club Turin, and roller hockey side Amatore Vercelli, who have won 3 league titles, an Italian Cup and 2 CERS Cups.